Hi, I'm Whitney Shannon with Farm Press, and this is Where Ag Is. And today we are in Cotton Plant, Arkansas on Adam Chappell's farm, talking about this soybean field that you see here behind us. Adam, you had this field, it was featured in a field day earlier this summer where you talked about how you reduced input costs and significantly cut operating expenses. So can you tell us a little bit about this field, maybe when it was planted, and what you've done to budget and plan to slash those costs this year?
Sure. So the season started last fall where we planted a cover crop for these beans to be planted into, and that's really the basis for all the savings we see through the season. So we didn't till this field at all, so we cut huge amounts of diesel out of our budget, man hours, repair on machines, maintenance, and then we planted these soybeans into this chest deep cover crop mid-April, I'd say around the 15th of April sometime. And because of that cover crop, we were able to cut herbicide expenses. We had one shot at planting where we burned down the cover crop and applied our pre-emerge, and then we had two post applications of broad spectrum, glyphosate and glufosinate, and that's all we've had to do to this field. So we've got in herbicide probably half of what we normally would with additional residuals, with winter burn down and all the other things that go with that. And then we also were able to plant these beans at 80,000, so we're getting almost 2 acres per bag, so we cut our seed cost in half. Also from the cover crops, the way we're cycling nutrients, we didn't have to apply any P or K, and we haven't had to for several years. So this is a really cheap soybean crop that we've got behind us.
Very good, very good. And soil health is very important to you across all the acres on your farm. So the soil testing, how often do you test the soil here, and what are you specifically looking at in terms of, inputs based on your soil test?
We don't do as much soil testing as we used to, but when we do, we use two tests in particular: a total nutrient digestion and a Haney test are the two that we rely on to help give us information. But we make most of our fertility decisions based on sap and tissue tests, and that can be in season, and it can help us plan for the next season. So if these beans had been deficient in potassium this year in our sap and tissue test, we could have corrected that in season, and also had a good idea we need to plan to do something for next season as far as potassium goes, and that goes for any macro or micronutrient. So we rely primarily on what the plant's telling us, and then back that up with the soil tests that I just mentioned.
Okay, perfect. And now one other thing that you mentioned during the field day was your cost per acre. So here we are mid-August looking at this field. What has been your cost per acre that you've seen so far this season?
Yeah, so at the time of the field day, we were just over $100 an acre. I think we were at like 110 or 12, I can't remember exactly, but just barely over $100 in direct inputs on this field. And since the field day, all we've done is irrigate 2 times, so we haven't added to that significantly. But this is probably one of the lowest input crops that I've made in my career. It may not be the cheapest just because of the price of all the inputs themselves, but it's definitely the lowest input, and it may very well be the cheapest.
That's amazing, and that's very important this year in terms of the ag economy and, like you said, the cost of inputs in general. If a farmer wanted to start doing what you're doing, what would you tell them would be the first step into reducing their inputs and kind of following the same strategies, and maybe what resources would they rely on?
Oh yeah, well, there's tons of resources out there today. When I started doing this in 2009, I had to rely on YouTube and people in other parts of the country because there just wasn't anybody around here doing it much. Tim Smith was about the only guy I knew that had information that I could lean on locally. But if I was starting today, I would reach out to some of the farmers that I see doing these things around me, and they'd be glad to share information with you. I don't mind answering questions all day long, and I would lean heavily on the NRCS programs because they have a lot of money out there with this new RPP to help that transition period where you may have some risk, you know, where you're learning and there's a learning curve. So definitely reach out to the NRCS and then your farmers around you that are doing it.
That's great. Well, look forward to seeing how these are going to harvest. Do you have any expectation on harvest?
I don't like to get my cart ahead of my horse, but they look really good to me. I think they're going to be pretty good.
They do. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of Where Ag Is, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.